Hello, I am Ada Hinton. I am the videographer at Mount Vernon, and welcome to Casual Friday. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we have Don Francisco with us. He's our Fifer, and he's going to share with us a lesson about music in the Revolutionary War. So today is also the last day that we are going to be giving away a family membership. Thank you to the generous support of the Hamel family from Arizona. You can enter through our Facebook live stream. And then if you're on YouTube, we'll have a link to get to the Facebook live stream. If you would like to enter there, just make sure that you leave a comment to enter. Also, ask us any questions if you have them. We're going to let Don talk, and then we'll sort of queue up the questions for him to answer. So I'm going to pass it off to Don now.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I miss you all, Mount Vernon. I miss my awesome colleagues, my supervisors, managers, directors. I miss our morning meetings. I miss our amazing guests from all around the country and the world: France, Germany, Russia, England, Israel, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, China, Korea. I go on and on. But thank you so much to our entire team here at Mount Vernon as we're going through this period. I'm very excited to share some music with you and also have some conversation. I've been preparing for this. And behind me, you'll see some very special flags. You'll see the Betsy Ross flag, and you also see General Washington's flag, the Commander-in-Chief's flag. And we'll do a little show and tell. I have some different fifes and flutes that are here to show you. And I also have a very special drum. Let me see if I could angle over on the drum. How about that? A very nice drum that was done by a good friend of mine, Dave Loyal. All righty. So let me start off with one of General Washington's favorite tunes, and it is not necessarily Yankee Doodle. Chester could be played slow or fast. Today you can hear it in church as a hymn. It was a very nice, appropriate tune for the time. William Billings, one of our early American choral arrangers. All right. So, fifes and drums, communication, getting the message, effective communication on the battlefield, relaying commands, be it advanced, reveille. Uh, there are so many calls. I don't have time to go through all of them because I'm also very excited to get to some question and answer time right now soon. So basically, my objective during this short time we have together is to let you know the importance of music during the Revolutionary War, be it critical communication or entertainment. Yes, there were times they used music for entertainment. There was a victory ball at Yorktown and all. So flutes, fifes, drums. And one of the things, let me turn around and grab a flute here. Alrighty. All right, of course we have the modern flute. Then we have a one-key German flute for Baroque music. And then the fife. Of course, fife, we think militia. All right, we think marching on the battlefield. The fifes and drums, relaying these commands. All righty. So Ada, who's all there? And I don't have a problem going to questions right away because the questions I may end up sharing some of the things I wanted to share. Who do we have up right now, Ada?
Okay, let's see. All right, so Claire, she's from Virginia, and she wants to know what your favorite musical piece from the American Revolution era was to play.
Wow, thanks, Claire. That's a really cool question. It's kind of difficult because I have so many favorite tunes, but I'll play one for you because I was playing this tune before I became a fifer. I was in a military band as a flute player and piccolo player, and we'd play these medleys. And I said, that sounds like a neat little tune. And where'd it come from? And then I'd find out it's called The Girl I Left Behind Me. So I have to add one more to that. And sorry if I play a little fast. I get a little excited sometimes. I would have been slower. One called British Grenadiers, also known as Free America. So we took that song and we changed the words to it, just like Yankee Doodle. We changed the words to Yankee Doodle. I don't know if you know this. And there was General Washington upon a charging stallion, giving orders to his men. I guess there were a million. Father and I went down to camp along with Captain Gooding. There we saw the men and boys were thick as hasty pudding. But back to British Grenadiers.
Well done.
Thanks so much. Great question, Claire.
Okay, so we have another question from our YouTube audience. Do they make outfits or do they buy them from the Virginia Garrison Regiment? I'm assuming she's talking about what you're wearing.
Okay, James Townsend and Son, a very great company. They've come to visit Mount Vernon, as a matter of fact. Yeah, you can go online. There's several outlets you can get it from, but we have an amazing volunteer department. A lovely lady named Mrs. Aziza has just an amazing collection of costumes, outfits, uniforms for us to.
Okay, our next question is from Suzanne. What is the difference between a fife and a flute?
Okay, thank you. I was hoping someone would ask that question. So the fife is in the flute family, but now I'm going to have to do a little moving around and maneuvering so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So if you're able to see some of my collection of flutes, I'm in the fife cave right now, the man cave, the basement here. And so these are some modern flutes, as you can see. Then I have a combination of different ones. Now let's get to the fifes. Hopefully you can see what I mean. I have a two-piece fife. This is a very beautiful fife from Skip Healy, amazing fife maker, musician, great friend of mine. I have some one-piece fifes, some two-piece fifes, plastics fifes, wood fifes. So basically, to answer your question more specifically, Suzanne, a fife is louder and higher than a flute. It's louder than a piccolo, but not as high as a piccolo. As a matter of fact, I should line them up for you so you can see the difference. And sorry for the moving around and all, but see the piccolos I have here? All right. So here's a piccolo, here's a flute. Let me get a fife. So let's line them up here. All righty. Piccolo is the smallest, the highest. The fife is the loudest. Okay, and it's higher than a flute. So we have highest, loudest, and lowest, and that's relative. And then also you have bass flutes, alto flutes, contra bass flutes. All righty, and we there's some songs I play on fife, I play on flute, but some are just more fifey, if you know what I mean. Next, please. Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay, Don, what is your educational background?
Educational backgrounds. Is this Bill Scales? Hi, Bill. So educational background is a mixed bag. It's a combination of schools, and I think one of the things that I hold most dear and near to my heart is my time with the military at the School of Music in Norfolk, Virginia. Just working with the military musicians, very competitive, very strong band of brothers and sisters, literally. Washington Bible College, University of Maryland, when I was in Korea, the Asian division, I was in the 8th Army Band in Korea, which was a really beautiful, life-changing experience because I married my lovely wife, Grace Clown Francisco, over there. Also, George Mason University. So my classes are focused on music, education, public relations, and American history. And I'm still going to school even as we speak, be it online. And let me give a shout out to some of my amazing, awesome, intelligent colleagues. I'm still getting educated as I work with retired school teachers, principals, government workers, veterans. So I've learned a lot, but I still have so much more to learn. It's so exciting. So thank you, Bill.
Okay, all right, we have another question here. So how long did it take you to learn the fife, and when did you start learning?
Great. Took me several months to learn the fife. It was a transition from flute. I So I started on piano in elementary school. Then sixth grade, picked up the flute. Uh, Still keep in touch with my beautiful music teacher, Miss Peggy Vax, and Mr. Richard Harrison from high school. And then I joined the Army at 17, 5th Infantry Division Band, flute, piccolo, 8th Army Band, Young Son's whole career. And then a very good friend of mine who I was at the School of Music with, named Andrea Frankenfield, introduced me to the Fife and Drum Corps. I saw them when I was on a trip. And it really caught my attention. The uniform, the sound, the uniqueness. So I auditioned, and it's a very tough audition. And here's a shout out to my beautiful, amazing veterans, colleagues, soldiers of the United States Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, my alumni unit, whom I'm very humbled, honored, and proud to have served with. Training program, memorizing lots of music. For the musicians out there, the fife we will play has an open G sharp and an open D sharp for that matter. So it's relearning. It's like going from standard to automatic, pop the clutch, or however you want to say it. So you learn some different fingerings, but once you get it, it's good. It's really cool. And, just make sure you don't try to play certain fife fingerings on a flute. It won't work. Also, that fife is in A flat. They call it B flat fife, but it's A flat concert. Long story. The lowest note I play on it, the D is a concert B flat. If I were to play a C, it would be an A flat. Next, please.
Okay, which fife that you own is your favorite? And I'll add why.
Which fife is my favorite fife and why? Wow. Oh, let's see. All righty, hold on. That's such a tough question because the fifes are so unique, and sometimes it depends on which song I'm playing. I'm sorry, but right now I would have to be honest with you and go with the fife I most recently purchased from Skip Healy. It's an olive wood 10-hole concert fife. It's a two-piece fife. It's pretty sweet. Matter of fact, why? Because it has special meaning. I know the fife maker. I actually get a little emotional, believe it or not. Music is very special. I mean, I think about all these people and relationships that I've been able to form. And I see Elizabeth, one of my former supervisors. Hello, Elizabeth, the Beth Queen, Beth Q2. One of my favorite songs. Thanks for asking the question. Next, Ada.
Okay, could you play a little bit from each instrument so we could hear the differences from each? And which one do you think is the hardest to play?
Ooh, the one that starts. It depends on the song. Some songs are easy on other flutes, but I'll give a different little demonstration. I'll be glad to. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about instruments, I do want to bring up something a little different. What am I doing with a bugle? This was a gift to me from a friend named Tony Zecker, a really nice drummer, and it's a bugle from World War II. So that's why I have this. I will not, I cannot play bugle, but it's got a special connection. So communication, bugle calls, there were fife and drum calls, drummers call, all righty? Now back about demonstrating some of the different instruments. I'll start off with some kind of instrument familiar. This is not quite related, but have you all ever heard of a nose flute? When I went to Canada, I got a nose flute. That's a nose flute. All right. Let me get something else that's very interesting for you. Some different recorders. All righty. So when we think of recorders, let me put it down a little bit here. Sorry. All righty. We usually think of a certain little song. hot cross bun. So recorder would have been played back then. Some nice, beautiful airs, some nice songs like Ash Grove and all. Let me switch to another one so you get a difference. The flute, the modern flute, does not match this uniform, but. Little Eine Kleine Nacht music. How about a little shout out for my home city on the next instrument I'll play? Oh, which one? A piccolo. Okay, a few more, and then I want to get to another question. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you. What's this? I don't know if the whole screen will get it. This is a walking stick flute. All righty. Okay. Waltz Suite. Sweetheart flutes. And one more, and I'll go to another question. Let's see. Oh, yes. Native Americans. Let's give them a shout out. They were African Americans, Native Americans, were a big part of the revolution also. This is a special flute I received from my music teacher I mentioned earlier, Miss Peggy Vax. And here we go. All righty. All right, thanks. I go on and on. I don't want to take up the whole time playing the different ones. But next question, please.
What other instruments were played by field musicians other than the fife and drums?
What other instruments were played by field musicians? Well, there were bugles. There weren't as many bugles during the Revolutionary War. There were more bugles during the Civil War for sure. But yes, there are. I'd like to recommend a good book to you that will really go into detail. Military music. It's Music of the American Revolution. I have the book. It's quite amazing. Do I have it in front of me? I have a few different ones on the music stand in front of me. And it mentions some of the different instruments and some of the different songs that will be played also. So not to evade the question so much, but it requires more time. Matter of fact, Ada, please feel free to give out my email. I'll be more than happy to go in more detail with a good question like that. Thanks so much. And I also like to give a shout out to some beautiful people at Williamsburg. I've played with the Fife and Drum Corps there. I've worked with Billy White, Sergeant Major Billy White, a good friend of mine. So there's some excellent resources online, and I'll be glad to email you some sources with even more information on instruments and songs and things like this. Next, please. Thank you, John.
Okay, Jeremy would like to know if you could give some examples of battlefield instructions given over the fife.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Great question. I appreciate it. This is a fun one because Jeremy's my boss. So how about there's some chaos, confusion on the battlefield. Cease fire. Stop firing all these weapons. Save the muskets or whatever. Save. Here we go. And then drummers call. Some calls were drum alone. Some were fife and drum. That's a very long list of songs, be it officers' call, first sergeant's call, parley. There's so many different calls out there, but those are two very big calls. Next question, please. Thank you, Jeremy.
Okay, Judy would like to know.
My friend, Judy friend.
Good. Judy would like to know, where's your favorite place to play your fife on the grounds at Mount Vernon?
Wow. These are some great questions, and some of them are actually emotional. I have two favorite places to play. Having served in the United States Army Honor Guard, it's about duty, honor, respect. I love our guests and I play for them all around the grounds. But let's get personal here. I love playing at the Tomb of General Washington, and I love playing at the Slave Memorial. Uh, it's been very emotional there. I personally shed some tears there. I've seen others shed tears there. The Slave Memorial is a very beautiful place in Mount Vernon. If you haven't been there, there's a beautiful colleague of mine named Brenda Parker. Maybe she's watching right now. Sings like an angel. We do ceremonies there. We've had descendants like the Quanter family come to be part of the ceremonies there. So, and playing by the river, definitely. But when I'm playing there, I'm honoring General Washington. Why is that special? Because the unit I served in, the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment, dates our time back to 1784, the oldest active duty infantry regiment. The Commander-in-Chief's flag that you see, I've been humbled and honored to march behind that flag with Alpha Company on the grounds of Mount Vernon. One of my last official jobs was marching for General Washington's birthday. And then the Slave Memorial, I recently found out I have slavery in my background, obviously, but I'm also a son of the American Revolution. My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Jean-Pierre Normand, from Louisiana. I can get you more information on that. Roy Hutchinson, whom I met at Mount Vernon, did my genealogy for me as a gift. It was nearly 2 years. So the Slave Memorial, playing music there. I've had people sing along to Amazing Grace, Kumbaya, Going Home. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. So I thank you for asking that question, Judy Frenham. I also want to give a shout out to your daughter, who's my office mate, Kirsten Friend. Once again, I can't tell you how blessed I am to work at Mount Vernon with such beautiful, intelligent, smart, cool, fun people. One of my favorite things, by the way, is our morning meetings. We are bringing lots of food. We share. We have great conversations, celebrate birthdays and things like that. So it's so much connection there. Sorry if I got a little too emotional. I do miss Mount Vernon right now. I really do miss it. Next, please.
Okay, just want to say thank you, Judy, for the thoughtful question and Don for the thoughtful answer. So we have another question here. So tell us, somebody wants to know what an interesting relationship that John Greenwood had with General Washington. So could you elaborate on that relationship a little bit?
I'll be glad to. By the way, who's asking that question? That's a great question. That's a very detailed question. Ada, is that?
It's Emeril Lopez, but that's a YouTube username, so that gets a little mysterious, I would say.
I think I recognize this person. This is my brother from another mother, my battle buddy. I call him Chief. He's an amazing bagpiper, drummer, and fifer. Thanks for asking that question, Devin Lopez, my brother. John Greenwood was at the Battle of Bunker Hill. He is an amazing young boy that grows up to end up becoming a dentist. But before I go there, he's been there, done that. I don't think he had a T-shirt or whatever, but John Greenwood was amazing. He was too young to fight, so he became a fifer boy, and he would be at the Battle of Bunker Hill. He would also be on that Christmas night, Trenton crossing the cold Delaware River. He would be there. He was quite interesting. He's one of my Revolutionary War heroes. What other interesting fact? I kind of gave it away. He becomes one of Washington's dentists. Washington had several dentists. There was a French dentist also, but John Greenwood, and we have a set of General Washington's dentures at Mount Vernon. John Greenwood made those teeth that were not wood. They were a combination of elephant ivory, some human teeth, cow teeth. They were Woods, WOOD', Woods teeth, but not wooden teeth. So yeah, John Greenwood and General Washington, some great history. You can go online and check out Fife Major John Greenwood, the New York Historical Society. There's some great music that he has a book there and all. Thank you, Admiral Lopez. I salute you, sir. Next.
All right. Geraldine would like to know, how old were you when you started playing the fife?
Oh,
Yes, I'm here.
hello. I'll play something if we have a little backup.
Okay.
Yes, Ada?
Can you see me?
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay. So the question is, how old were you when you started playing the fife?
I was actually around 27 or so, maybe, because I had already been in the Army 6 years. So let's see, I joined at 17, 23, 24 maybe. So yeah, but I have been playing flute I started at about 12 years old playing the flute. And one thing I do want to mention, all flute players do not play fife. All fifers do not play flute. And I'm able to do both. But I have a very good friend, Keith Wright, another brother from another mother, outstanding flute player, doctor, PhD. He says he'll be. uh, and he says that very respectfully. And that's understandable. So just because you play fife doesn't mean you play flute, and vice versa. Okay.
Good to know.
Next.
Okay. Anna would like to know, which military band did you play in?
What military band I played in?
Yes.
Did I hear you right? Or... So the 5th Infantry Division Band at Fort Polk, Louisiana, which is now no longer active, twice, from 1980 to 86. Then I went to Korea from 86 to 89. Then I returned to Fort. By the way, while I was in Korea, I was in the 8th United States Army in Yongsan, Seoul, Korea, which has now been relocated to Daejeon or some. And then I came back to Fort Polk for 2 or so years, and then I transferred to the 3rd United States Infantry Guard Fife, serving with some amazing men and women. Matter of fact, one of my commanders was a Chief Warrant Officer named Jeannie Pace, who was also my drum major at the School of Music in 1983. How serendipitous. Chief Elwine, Chief Ball Vans, Chief Alvarez, who's resting in peace at Arlington National Cemetery now. The list goes on and please.
Okay. So Jim would like to know how. Don, can you hear me?
That's called a successful campaign, or appropriate during the revolutionary time. I can't hear you. I'm sorry, Ava. We're breaking up.
No, that's okay. I think we're having a little bit of lagging going on, but that's okay. So the question is how did regiments select their fifer, and were they usually kids?
Oh, some volunteered, some was elected, some was passed down. I like to mention a few fifers to you, by the way. There's 3 options that are kind of interesting. We mentioned John Greenwood of European descent, but I'd like to mention Brasilia Lou, an African American, a free African American in Massachusetts that was at the Battle of Bunker Hill. He also earlier he was fighting in the French and Indian War. I'd like to mention Primus Slocum, the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, a very historic group. You want to do some nice little homework and research, check out the Rhode Island Regiment, some African Americans who are fighting for freedom. And also William Stives. There's a big book, If These Stones Could Talk. Look that up. I'm in touch with the lovely authors. And there's a William Stives in there, and that would be at Valley Forge, Winterd, Washington, Valley Forge. So yeah, some of the fifers volunteered, and some groups had quite a few, some not as many. Some were older than others. It depended on the needs of the at the time. But there were fifers 13. Imagine middle schoolers. Imagine being in a war on the front lines. Spirit of 76. Here's a story for you. Me while I'm around some. How many of you all recognize this famous painting, Spirit of 76? Okay, this Fifer's name is Hugh Mosher. That because I was given a class one day, and his great grandson named Dana Mosher, my friend on Facebook, showed up. That was his relative. So pretty. Hugh Mosher is from Ohio. That he was in the Civil War, but he posed for this painting from the Revolutionary War. And so if you get a chance, check him out, Hughmoshe, which gives me a chance to shout out another veteran, a hero of mine named General Julius Wesley Becton. How do I segue? Because we, this that's posed for the World War painting in the Civil War. Well, there were young boys that survived the Civil War that were living during the Revolutionary War. General Julius Becton, a triple combat veteran in Korea, World War II, and Vietnam, and I'm so blessed to know him and visit with him, and speechless. It's just amazing. And I play music for him. I play a song called Gary Owen, the song. General was at Fort Hood at one time. He was out in Germany, and I have a cousin, Kevin, that was under his command. So the music is so powerful. One of the things I love about music in the military, we play for all these different units, so we get to learn songs from the airborne. We're all American, proud to be an engineer song and all these things like that. I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent. All right, next, please.
Okay, nothing wrong with a tangent. Everybody likes a tangent, you know. So
your patience.
Yes. So Daniel would like to know if you ever had an opportunity to play Fifer. We'll just give it a second.
I can't hear you. Sorry. It's lagging, Ada. I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So question, Daniel, yes. Okay. So Daniel would like to know if you ever had the opportunity to play fife commands during a recreated battle.
Daniel wants to know about fife commands in battle?
Yes.
Is that the question? Oh, yes. By the way, would that be Daniel Wilson, one of my good friends? Just want to give him a shout out. An amazing young drummer, his beautiful family. Call his dad, cousin Todd, and his lovely mother, Miss Michelle. Yeah, so, yeah, there were fife calls in battle. No doubt about it. Don't have time to go now, but there's a list of fife and drum calls. You can go online. I'll give a recommendation. If you want a great source of music, the Ogar Fife and Drum Corps webpage. They have some amazing links on there to some good calls. You can also to Village Volunteers Fife and Drum Corps, vvec.org. There's so many great resources out there. Like I said, I've learned a lot, but I still have so much more to learn. And once you learn one thing, it opens up other things. I mean, for example, here we have, books with fife majors and all these books I have with me. And the other side, how about some and things like are we frozen now? Oh man. Information out there.
Okay, Don. Can you hear me?
Next,
Don, I think we're gonna wrap up here. So could you play us a favorite song?
Ada?
Yes. Hello. I'm here. I'm back.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me, Don? I think
I can hear you now, Ada.
we are okay. Perfect. I think we're gonna wrap up this Casual Friday. You know, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I want to thank you, Don, for like sharing your music with us. So just remember, everybody, you can always tune in at 12 p.m. EST. We do these live streams every week, and who knows, maybe Don will join us again sometime. All right.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Ava. Thank you to all our guests. Thank you to my awesome colleagues. Thank you, Ada. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Dr. Doug Bradburn, our president and CEO. Thank you to our vice president for education, Allison Wilkins. Thank you for my supervisor, Kathleen Ford. I'm very grateful. Thanks for joining me in the man cave, the Fifers cave here. But I sign out. Black.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Don. Yeah, Don's lagging. Okay. So we're going to head out. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Tune in again. All right. Goodbye.